Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Off the Top Podcast, the most unprofessional professional podcast in the YouTube space, hosted by yours truly, Zero Requiem 14. We are on episode 61. There you go. Yep, we are back. We're a little on the light side today, but pretty much as anyone who is going to join, they should be hopping into the call at any second. But until that happens, of course, Josh is back for another podcast episode after missing out last week.
Oh, man.
You good? You good? Things happen. It's really just hard to, I always preface it. It's always hard to just get like 4 to 5 adults just to sit in one space for like a certain period of time.
That one podcast, though, we were blessed with like 5.
I know, right? The one time the podcast got blessed with like 5 of us, man. But I definitely do. But I hopefully can try to schedule it a little better because we may, I don't know, not 100% sure, but we may or may not do some scheduling changes. But depends on what I decide before then. But with that being said, I think we should always start with what I always ask first. What have we done since the last podcast?
Oh, what was my last visit? Yeah, it's been a minute. Let's see. I've been healing a lot with my injury. There has been lots of opportunities to come my way, and lots of opportunities have come my way, and they have helped me grow. In other words, sometimes I have doubts whether or not the connections I've made over the years will lead to things, and have I made the right friends and all, and I have, and I've been given opportunities, and it's been pretty good. Stuff at work's pretty light. They admire me, and I can't really ask for anything else. Really, everything's been going my way. I've actually been hanging with Trev more. We've been getting some concepts solidified. I'm still working on the album. It's gonna be really nice once it's all together.
There you go, man. There you go. All right, awesome.
Yeah. What about you, sir?
Well, I mean, aside from pretty much just sitting in the Marvel Tokon waiting room, which is going to be later this week. I think it's in like 3 days. The game's actually going to be dropping. So I'm kind of wearing my appropriate Deadpool muscle tee for now. But
Yeah.
I do eventually actually want to watch like Spider-Man. I might even watch it tomorrow because those was it like cheaper Tuesdays at like movie theaters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I might see something too. For the fuck of it, I think I might go see what is it? The Odyssey.
Odyssey, I do want to see as well at some point because I've been hearing. I did not realize. Yeah, you know what I didn't realize is how stacked that cast was. Because I was just holy shit! I was like, Christopher Nolan knows how to pull people in.
Well, I heard that he had a reported budget of 250 mil.
Oh yeah, 250 million, and you're Christopher Nolan. He knows how to stretch that money out.
And so I was like, all right, that's gonna be intense.
Yeah,
or rather, it's. I do believe he could do it, but to make your money back off that's insane.
Yeah, that's it's definitely made its money back. So, but I'll eventually get around to watching the Odyssey. But speaking of movies, like I did watch, I actually watched Mortal Kombat 2, the one that came out this year, and painfully mid.
Painful.
Like I think there's moments that are okay, but it's like, yeah, as a film, I'm like, I would have been pissed off if I watched this in a movie theater. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Because like we watched the 2021 film, and I was like, it's definitely not made for theaters. It's a fun streaming movie. Let's just leave it at that, or like a smaller screen film.
Like something that, only like a small audience.
Yeah.
Could appreciate, in other words.
Yeah, but I mean, I watched it. It was all right. I mean, it's available on Max for anybody who plans to watch that movie. But aside from doing that, I just realized that the new character for Street Fighter 6 came out technically today as of this recording, like literally like actually even like maybe even yesterday. Kind of just played it for a little bit. She's pretty dope. I don't know if she's going to be the best character in the game at the moment, like just seeing, day one impressions. It's like kind of seems like a character that's like death by 1,000 cuts and maybe pressure and mix up, but nothing like super substantial. But I'd like to see a pro do something crazy with her at the tournaments, because I think we actually have a fighting game tournament coming up in like almost like a little under 2 weeks, which is CEO in Florida. So I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out for that. But there's actually another thing I actually did, and I get to do this like sort of arcade. My arcade stick addiction is still going very strong. I actually did some changes. So if anybody doesn't know my old driver that I used for a while, I actually swapped out the joystick in here. So now this is like more of my Japanese stick, essentially, or like more of my Japanese fighting game stick.
Ooh.
Here I'll show. I don't know if you can see that.
That's sick.
The shaft is shut up. I know someone's gonna say something stupid, because you can't talk about joysticks without making it sound a little sexual,
It sounds like a shaft.
But I swapped that out, the old lever, and I put it in my new driver, which is my big boy, and I get to show this. Like, dude, this is the one thing I still getting. This shit is wide, but so far, like, it feels really good in here. I'm like, the only thing that sucks, because what I like about this stick is that there's a little like covering that's that covers the joystick, and it's like a quick access if you want to change like the top. So, but because of the joystick that I installed in here, since the body is a lot bigger inside the chassis, I basically have to just remove the bottom, and then it moves perfectly fine. Plus, especially because it's just gonna be like laying on my lap. Well, you guys can't hear that, but I can hear it, and it's something about arcade stick buttons. Once you hear arcade stick buttons, man.
This is what she said. It's whatever fits comfortably,
But but yeah, so definitely, I'm just trying to figure out. I'm like, which arcade stick I want to use for starting with Tokon. I might start with the my Hori stick, so that's likely going to be the move for now. But I'm probably going to cycle between both. I do have like another arcade stick I've been kind of like keeping an eye on for a minute, but I probably won't be getting that until probably Black Friday is at least what I'm shooting for, because I know I've asked Kevin about like when does Prime Day and when does Black Friday, like, does it really matter? And he was saying that like Prime Day is kind of like not too far from Black Friday, so it's like, okay, so probably just wait until then and just focus on a couple other things I do plan to play eventually. And then I got like personal things coming up too, so
I'm gonna be excited for this year's Black Friday. There's gonna be a lot of stuff that's just gonna be half off.
I know. At least that's what I hope, because there's definitely a lot of things that I'm like, I've kind of been just like saving, like, or at least like bookmarking on Amazon, because I might be getting like another monitor. Because like, don't get me wrong, I like my OLED monitor, but the problem is that the caveat of having an OLED monitor is the fact that you have the risk of burn in, which is basically, it's almost like a permanent image is like just attached to the screen because of practically the brightness of that OLEDs produce. So, but I mean, I know there's like a new technology, and I know a lot of stores have been getting it recently called like mini LED or something like that, which it's supposed to be like the competitor to OLED. And I mean, from what I've seen on TVs, at least at Sam's Club, it seems pretty good. So, plus they're usually a lot cheaper in comparison to an OLED because like this one was a lot of fucking money. It was like, it's best we don't talk about it. Let's just say that much. But
that's brave.
Let's just say it's a lot more than I was expecting. But I mean, I am getting my money's worth out of it because it's practically what I use on a near daily basis. So
that's good at least.
So, and I mean, worst case scenario, I mean, I get the command center, and once I get the mini LED monitor at some point down the line. But eventually, though, that's an eventuality. And then along with that, like even like part of me is like wants to get like PC parts as well, but I know I've heard suggestions to go to like some place called like Micro Center. The only problem is that there's none in Rapid City. There's like one of my coworkers told me like if you're willing to take a trip down to Colorado, you can head down there, and then usually they can negotiate like a whole bunch of like combo deals that's usually not online or can even be cheaper. I think there's probably micro centers too out in California. I just don't know where they are.
Yeah, no doubt they are. It's just it's what I'm saying, man. It's already starting. This computer, this new CPU age.
oh yeah, the compute. I mean, PC gaming has been going really strong, but I think it's just getting amped ever since the 2020s pretty much started, dude.
All right, guys, bet on call sheet right now.
God.
PC will beat out Xbox.
no free hey, no call sheet shout outs here. We don't fuck with that.
Yeah. This is wild stuff you could do now with gambling.
I know, right?
Not for it. But anyway, weird.
Very weird stuff, man. But I got a couple kind of like really, generally speaking, like kind of smaller topics, but there's definitely one topic that's pretty big, and I think we'll go at a fairly lengthy discussion on it. So I'm gonna just kind of knock out some of the smaller stuff. So let's start with the kind of the shitty news. So the EA CEO just received a $38 million bonus, all because of Battlefield 6's success. And what does that mean? If he wants more, probably gonna lay off a lot of people, man. Yeah, this is like biblical level of greed. Like every single corporation, man. Like this is the greed that the Bible tells us.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So if you don't know your history,
yeah,
you will be doomed to repeat it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But I mean, hey, Battlefield 6 is still going, but I haven't touched that game in like months. And mostly because like I don't know. It's just like it's fun for a little bit, but then I just kind of get bored of it pretty fast. It's like compared to even like the other like nowadays I'm playing more like hero shooters, like at least Rivals and Overwatch. So just more interesting games in my opinion, at least. And then along with fighting games as well. Other kind of like shitty news that happened. There was actually a Black Ops 2 hacker on the Black Ops 2 on PS4, PS5 port that pretty much was just hitting a bunch of accounts that were basically giving the accounts like an exponential amount of XP, and then all of a sudden it would like kind of like brick the accounts, and you'd have to like start over again. So the craziest thing is that like that whole day, it was basically a lot of accounts, like, and we're talking like in the thousands range, that some accounts just couldn't play Black Ops 2 because of this hacker. And eventually, some other hackers actually got onto this guy and they leaked everything. They leaked his name, they leaked his address, photos, like, dude, full on DDoS.
What the hell?
I know. Oh, and it's, I mean, why the fuck are you like I swear to God, man, I legit think like anyone who like hacks into just like games in general, I genuinely think just go to fucking jail.
Well,
Is
no,
it?
I mean that is
I mean,
jail
is it
time.
extreme? But come on, man, you're like ruining an experience for everybody. And sometimes,
It's a huge invasion of privacy.
yeah, exactly. Like, I genuinely think like number one, it's just such loser behavior to begin with. Like, you can't be that ass that you got to start hacking everybody.
But we're meant to be broken.
Like, it's like, bro. That's why I always say like I'm on like the fighting game mentality. You want to know what you do when it comes to like overpowered shit? Figure it out. Just figure it out. Put it like you can just look up, especially like nowadays, in the age of information, where it's more accessible than ever. Just figure that shit out, dude. There's people who can find counters for like majority of the things that are really strong.
So once again, Jeremy, if we can't figure it out, what do we say? What is it? If we can, if we find ourselves stuck in that problem, what do we do?
Figure it out. Oh my god. Just like I literally start to sound like Rocket Raccoon in the first Guardians film. It's where he just like screams, it's just like figure it out. Literally, like that's all I could say. Like at that point, I'm like, dude, just stop it. I was like, don't be a pussy. Figure it out. God, I'm such an asshole.
No, you're not.
Anyways,
Yes.
but move. But I mean, as far as I'm aware, though, like supposedly, they have like kind of figured out a little bit of a situation though with this whole hacker situation. They actually did review accounts that like that the ones that did get affected. They pretty much got their accounts restored, and then I guess like some other accounts they have to kind of go through like a little process. But as far as specifically what happened to the hackers, we don't have any information on them yet. But I'm just hoping, man, that they take care of that situation like sooner than later, because I have yet to play like an actual multiplayer game of Black Ops 2, the one that many consider the greatest like Call of Duty multiplayer game.
Really?
Yeah, that's like that tends to be like the general consensus amongst the old heads. Like,
Why? But why haven't you visited?
I don't know. To be quite honest, it's like every time I've played like Call of Duty, I always end up going to Black Ops 1. I just have like nostalgia for that one personally.
I have nostalgia for Modern Warfare 2.
Bro just wants to know Russian mission.
Yeah, man. And then like, yeah, that's that rooftop mission. Skyline or I forget I forget what it
Oh my god. High Rise.
was.
You're talking about the High Rise map? Yeah, fucking High Rise.
Yeah,
High Rise is such a good fucking map on Call of Duty, man.
epic. Absolutely epic.
Yep. But I'll eventually get to Black Ops 2, but it's kind of like with the timing of a lot of things like right now, because like I think by the time like Marvel Tokon drops later this week, yeah, I'm probably gonna be dedicating most of my time on that, going through like all the single player stuff, and then eventually kind of like doing some online. Now, is it going to be the game that I consistently go? That we'll find out eventually. Because I know I kind of tend to bounce around between like different fighting games. Because last week, like I had like I went back to Street Fighter 6 to play ranked, and I actually, a very nice chatter. We had a decent conversation like throughout the stream, and a little bit of coaching that I definitely need for Street Fighter.
That's why I always like I'm reluctant to start a fighting game. Like it's like you got to start like a whole like gym routine essentially.
Yeah, you definitely got. Yeah, there's definitely like routines that a lot of people got to do. Like that's what the pros do sometimes. Like just labbing. Let's put it that way. It's labbing.
Yeah.
So always a fun time. That's why I always will say, like, no matter what, and I don't know if you agree with me on this, Josh, but I always like will have the hot topic of that I genuinely think fighting games are easily like amongst the hardest games to get really good at.
Oh yeah.
Compared to like, I even argue, even compared to like RTSs, hero shooters, and like tactical shooters, I genuinely like, to me, it's just fighting games in general, especially because there's always, number one, it's a 1v1 aspect unless you're playing 2xKO, which there is a duo aspect to the game as well that you can play, but still, the majority is like you gotta kind of look into yourself when it comes to the mistakes. Like I can, so compared to like basically half of the rivals player base, it's like, what do you mean I can't blame my team for my mistakes?
Yeah. It's the whole accountability thing.
Yep, and that's why I always say like the fighting game mentality. I feel like it genuinely just. I'd even argue like fighting games kind of like even benefit, at least for me, it benefits me personally because it makes me learn like how to handle like certain things, like even like outside of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the whole accountability thing. That's why I'm kind of like, I'm very hard on myself on like fucking hero shooters too, because I was like, okay, I either could adapt to a situation or I gotta like stick with it.
Yeah.
Obviously one is a team aspect and the other is, okay, what do I got to do myself to to not put myself in a situation where I'm in a block string the whole time, you know?
Yeah. It's weird, man. Sometimes I can get a little insecure whenever I'm trying to learn and start a game, and sometimes people are just way too good. It happens with Call of Duty. Well, you're just like, okay, I'm gonna go have fun, and you enter the game, and it's like you just get sniped and sniped and sniped and sniped, and it's like,
And then
Jesus, what am I doing?
It's just like, it's like you feel it kind of has like that sort of discouraging effect where it's like, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or what just happened. Like, I get that, man. I absolutely get it. Hey, you know what?
It's absolutely horrendous.
Yeah. That's kind of, but hey, that's also the beauty of pretty much like some competitive games. You know, like I say, like I'm always going to be like the one vouching for fighting games to be the like ultimate competitive game. You know, at least competitive game genre, in my opinion. It's not to say that, you know, I'm discrediting like games like League or Overwatch or anything like that, but it's just my perspective, really.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of like, I mean, dude, let's put it this way. Like, just look at sports in general.
Yeah.
So, but I guess, I'll quickly move on to this little other topic. And I kind of wish Kevin was here, but at the moment he's not. But I'll try to speak on my thoughts on this lovely franchise. Gears of War E-Day just had its multiplayer reveal. I will definitely say the more I'm like looking at this, I'm like, this is like really selling me on buying a Series X again. But at the same time, but I could also just buy it on PC as well. And they are having an open beta like later this month, like I think like mid-August. It's an open beta. So I'm probably,
that's actually it's an interesting little analysis I made just now. It's like the age of the computer is getting a lot bigger, and in this situation, it's like, oh, well, now I'm having a surge of nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd bring back the old Xbox, and so it's like, yeah, it's interesting. I would think that grabbing it on PC would be more
Well,
beneficial
the
because you
only
can mod stuff and stuff.
yeah, the only other thing really is because like at least in my case, like I'm still sort of a baby when it comes to like PC gaming as a whole, because it's like just understanding like how to adjust settings so that way, because like in my case I am trying to not only play a game, but I'm also trying to record footage. And it's already like, that's already a lot that I'm putting onto my rig. So that's why it's kind of like, it's a little challenging, but I mean, once I, that's what research is all about. Like what I mentioned, I don't know if I said it on this pod or at least before the pod, just take like 5 minutes just to look into something, to see what see what you can do to kind of like make a game run a little better, so long as it's optimized, and you should be good. Because technically, I technically could just buy Marvel Token on Steam, but because the beta had like a lot of like PC like optimization issues, and it kind of put me a little weary on that. What I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably gonna get it on PS5 specifically, but I might pick it up on Steam as well. But once it goes like a little lower on the discounts, like maybe once that Ultimate Edition kind of drops to a lower price, and hopefully like all the issues that it had initially got fixed, then there you go.
There you go.
So it's funny because like that was actually like one of the questions that I asked on the last pod, but because I was in a little bit of a time crunch with Kevin, we had to basically just kind of leave it open on the pod. Like we didn't really elaborate on it, but I think I may as well just like, I'll probably just bring it up again just for the sake of kind of going deeper into the conversation. Don't worry, I'll get back on the Gears of War E-Day thoughts in a second. I know it's kind of been like a long tangent that I'm on, but
you're good.
Yeah, but you know what? That's what this podcast is all about, man. It's just random tangents that I be going on, and what everybody else be going on.
We all here, we all out here.
Yeah. So I guess like, at least like it's kind of a question that I've kind of thought about, like especially lately with like just how like a lot of new releases sometimes can be just severely unoptimized. So I'll at least put it out and I'll give my thoughts on it as well. But so if a game is unoptimized for like PC or console, would you wait until it is optimized, or are you just going to fully skip it?
Define optimized.
Like it doesn't like not too many like bugs like happening in the game. It's like not super like hitchy or like drop frame rates or constant crashes, basically. Kind of like general surface level stuff.
Okay. And the question is whether I would wait until it's optimized, or just do I already have a PC, in other words?
Let's just say hypothetically. Let's just say on a hypothetical, you bought it on whatever you play on. Let's just throw that as part of the hypothetical.
All right, got it for PS5. Got it.
So let's say, you know what? I'll give a perfect example. Metal Gear. Like the Metal Gear Solid Delta. I know that game had issues like on launch because it was an Unreal Engine 5 game. And basically, like, I guess if you try to play it on a base PS5 or if you try to play it on PC, it just had a lot of issues. And I guess PS5 Pro, I don't know if it was that much better or if it was
It was more optimal. Okay.
Like a little more optimal, but I'm not I haven't looked at stuff for a while.
So you're basically in the Fallout equation.
In a way, yes.
I would very much wait until it's all absolutely optimized, because nothing is going to repair that scar.
Yeah, it's like, especially because like it's like what you brought up, like just Bethesda. Like just Bethesda, because let's put it this way, Bethesda is the one company people let get away with so many bugs in it because they claim it's a part of the Bethesda charm.
No.
But another company does it that's not named Bethesda.
That's toxicity in a fucking sentence.
Yeah, that's like Stockholm syndrome at that point.
Yeah, literally, it's like I want to make a comparison, but it'd be screwed up. Like I know people like that.
Oh, maybe not go that far.
It's just wow.
Here, you know what? Here, I'll give my version of like a Stockholm syndrome. Like, okay, it's a fighting game. Of course, I got to bring up another fighting game. But while it was optimized, I just did not have fun with its mechanics. Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah.
Like, the game's fine. It runs well. It looks good. I just hate mechanics in that game. That's where it's like, okay, I'll try my best to play it because at least it plays well. Now, if you ask me, like, a few streams, like, maybe, like, 2 streams ago, maybe 3, when the Marvel Tokon beta was going around, I first tried it on PS5. Runs perfectly fine. Like, I had no issues whatsoever. But then the second I tried to play it on PC, oh my lord, I had audio reverbing because it could barely get through the intro. And then the second I tried to play the game, like, on stream, the game, like, it had problems. It just had so many problems just trying to, like, barely walk. Like, I walk and all of a sudden the game stops for, like, 2 seconds, maybe 3, and then I can move.
Yeah, screw that, man.
So
that's when you say, I can't run this game.
Like, my rig cannot run it. And especially, what doesn't help either is the fact that Tokons, like the specs required for even just I barely pass minimum on my rig. Getting recommended is a high ass rig. And I was like, I genuinely think like Sony was trying to sabotage the game's like PC launch.
PC launch?
Yeah, because it's going to be on PS5 and it's also going to be on PC. So already it's just like, what the fuck, man?
It's all interesting. But like, I just don't. I'm just waiting for the next thing that everyone's on. Right now, it's like, we're still on the same consoles. We're still waiting for the same type of games. There's no innovation anywhere.
And the problem right there, brother, is the fact that I don't know what's going to be innovative anymore. Like, unless you look even if you look at the indie scene, they're generally, for the most part, like template wise, very similar to other games, but obviously they do their own take on it, of course.
Well, is it that saturated that they say, "Oh, we know what people like"? They're just
absolutely.
Like
it is like, I argue, like, like, dude, this whole decade, I argue, is like the most saturated this market has ever been. Like, it's at the point that, like, now we have too many, again, first world fucking problem, but I mean, now we have too many options that it's hard for people to just like sit down, play one game, and then they can move on to the other game comfortably without having to worry. It's like, dude, I already can argue, like, this from this month going on till like GTA 6, dude, we're gonna be in a hell of a fucking time when it comes to gaming. Because I know there's the Beast of Reincarnation. I'm interested in that game, but the problem is that it's literally before Marvel Tokon, and that's a single player game I would love to dedicate time to. So I'm like, I can wait on that. I skipped out on, I usually say fuck Ubisoft because I hate them, like, with a burning passion. I will give the benefit of a doubt for Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resync, because that actually looks like a pretty decent remake of Black Flag, the one that a lot of people like.
I think that series has had a resurgence too. I think that was the only thing, that was the only problem with their games, was like, this is so, like, the mechanics are so realistic, but the graphics just don't match.
So in regards to Assassin's Creed, I'd argue it's on the contrary. Mechanically speaking, they're just all right. It's just it doesn't make sense for Assassin's Creed specifically. It would make sense in a different game that would be an actual RPG. And then graphically speaking, I mean, they're passable. It looks all right. And now, granted, that's kind of a more this generation. It feels like in terms of graphics, everything's just plateaued.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
like I said, the innovation isn't there yet. I remember when there was like, okay, you could have any game, but as long as you had a good TV to support it, you know what I mean? Like,
or like whatever display you had.
Yeah, I remember for a while it was like, oh man, I have Infamous, but it's not as good on my TV because
if you looked at like 4K at the time or like a 1080p even at the time, that's how new that shit was.
Yeah, especially like I mean I'd even argue that 1080p still looks fairly decent. It's passable now. But like anything below that, ooh, I don't know. Unless you're unless you're a psychopath and you just want 500 fucking frames and you're gonna play at like 720p.
Like, do you remember when people like used to play on like portable DVD players? It was like
Jesus.
that.
Oh Jesus Christ! You're talking about portable gaming. Oh, you mean something like this guy right here, the Nintendo Switch 2, a fucking magazine with a battery attached to it?
That's crazy to me.
I mean, we're not. I mean, let's be real though. We're not gonna pretend that like Nintendo is like, they're all about having like the best like at least like not the most insane of graphics and the best of power. They're just more of, well, it's functional, and I will give them credit on that. Nintendo,
the functionality of their games is pretty good. Most
of the time they're functional. Like I know, like I've been kind of like really thinking about playing like some of my Switch 2 games. But like I know like DK Bonanza, I know at some point apparently like when it launched there was a particular fight that the game like would drop in frame rate, but kind of like just the style of the game, it made sense that it was going to have something like that. But aside from like that one thing, it still ran pretty well from what I've heard. So that's just kind of like that's where the whole like optimization argument comes in. Like I argue Nintendo, at least lately, it's been kind of a little weird. But at least like back then, they knew what their limitations were and they made it work.
Have they revamped Luigi's Mansion?
Oh man. I still have the third game and I have yet to start that. Like let's put it this way. There's a lot of Switch games I have not really started on, and they've been just sitting back there, right where that controller is.
Just chilling here.
Who knows? Maybe I become a Nintendo YouTuber and do playthroughs on that. Who knows?
See, that sounds very interesting because it's like not many people have that, like it's unique.
Well, at least trying to bring back because like I've been on like the whole like I want to do like Let's Plays again, man, and at least like next month there's definitely 2 that I'm heavily considering, but I kind of want to see where I am, like, financially speaking, and if I got time to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see. Like, I can definitely say for certain, though, September, I would definitely say, like, between September, October-ish, I think we're going to be bringing back a playthrough of some kind.
We need, man, you can play the Arkham series, or, I don't know, whatever you want. Like,
I mean, I've already done my, like, at least just the Arkham thing is like me just personally playing them like on my own, but like as far as like doing a dedicated playthrough on a game like that one, I gotta figure it out because I've been getting that itch again to go through Resident Evil, especially with the movie coming out.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, see that movie, man. There you go. We're talking about movies earlier. That's a movie I want to see.
Yeah. Like, I know we had a conversation about it, like, and I was like, damn, I really wish Josh was here to, like, talk about that, and I guess we're sort of retreading on our topics from last week. But I want to know, okay, let me hear your opinion first before I speak on Resident Evil.
Okay. What's the opinion?
Well, I was waiting for your opinion first.
Oh, on that. So I know it's funny that you mentioned that. I was waiting to see your reaction to see if there was like anything in the trailer that was like, I don't like this, or like, different, or and I was very, very curious because there's a lot of like, I played this game, I read this book, and I hope they do it justice, as a movie, a game, what have you. And so
as like an adaptation.
Yeah. And the standalone trailer, you know what I mean? As a guy who can admire video games like this, but who isn't familiar with the franchise, I will say it looks promising.
Yeah, that was very much the first thing I said. I was like, because after watching Weapons last year, I was like, and he's doing a Resident Evil movie. I was like, I'm very interested in what this is gonna look like. And then obviously we had like the teasers, then we had the official trailer for it. And genuinely, probably one of the few films that like is actually gonna make me go watch it like day one. I can say that with confidence.
I would very much say that the horror genre right now is trying its very best to stay like, what's the word? Relevant?
Yeah. Especially because especially because we had like two back-to-back like top horror films from like smaller like directors with Obsession and Backrooms.
I was gonna say I those. I want to see Obsession.
Obsession,
but again,
I think I'm more interested in.
The only reason why I didn't go see it and it's because the premise seems a little like easy, if that makes any sense.
It's easy, like a easy to digest kind of like premise.
Exactly. I'm like, I know what happens. I don't know. It's no wonder like people like Christopher Nolan are so popular right now because they're really innovative. There are people that are reaching for innovation every 2 seconds, and with this Odyssey movie, I know that they've had that big budget, the big cast on it. You know what I mean? It's huge. It's crazy. But sometimes if you just know the premise, it's not. You can put all the gimmicks you want. It's just not going to be good, or not going to be good. But it's not going to be the all out experience that you were hoping for.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of things that we're all just waiting for. That are like, we hope it's not mid.
Yeah, like what I mentioned earlier with the Mortal Kombat 2 film, where it's like this is like painfully like average or painfully mid. Or what is it that Gavin has said like a couple times, like on some products, like aggressively mid or something like that.
It's just aggressively mid.
Yeah, so it's like,
it's just so funny to me.
Obvious, but yeah, like but I guess like from speaking from like a Resident Evil fan's like perspective, now I have played a little bit of one, like as far as I could. I'm not 100% sure where I stopped on one, but playing RE2 remake, RE3 remake, RE4, both the original and the remake, 5, 6, 7, shut up, 8 and 9, and then Revelations. I will definitely say I have enough credibility to say I have played Resident Evil.
That's for sure.
So from my perspective, it's definitely more on the love letter side of it being a Resident Evil film, because it's not using characters from the games, at least according to Zach Kreger. He hasn't pulled any characters from the games. The only thing that this film is sharing with Resident Evil is, one, its title, and two, that it's going to be in Raccoon City. That is as far as it goes. Because then after that, once I started to hear like other details, like for starters, that it's in 2026. So
you feel me?
2026 in the winter, because the original Resident Evil, or at least like RE2, like around that point, was basically, it was the summer and it was in like 1998. So
yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, if you take like the major elements, you know what I mean, out of some things just for the sake of like someone's contract or something like that, things are bound to get in the way. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like with Indiana Jones, they had like such a good fucking like series. in the films, like just hey, this is decent. This is groundbreaking. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, when Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, it's like, oh my god, they finally came back with another one. And then when they, when it all boiled down, once you saw the movie, it's like, wait, really? Wait, really?
Yeah. You're just left like Patchy the Pirate, just saying, that's it?
Wait, that's it? Oh, I've been duped.
Yeah, so it's, but yeah, it's like, I think and if I look at the film from the perspective of two things, one, that it's an adaptation, so Prager has the creative freedom to kind of like adapt the Resident Evil project like in his own way, and two, the fact that it's definitely taking elements of the game, because I mean, from the trailer alone, like Raccoon City, obviously a zombie gets hit in the first, like when the guy's driving down that road, so I was like, yep, that's homage to Resident Evil 2. And then he goes to a random abandoned house, and if you played Resident Evil 2, at least to remake, and I'm pretty sure the original did this as well, you start at a fucking gas station first.
Yeah.
And it's practically abandoned. And at least in the film, our main character is literally finds a double barrel shotgun and is trying to look for ammo. Oh, and there's a typewriter as well. So there's a lot of beats. There's a lot of things that they're taking from just Resident Evil as like, oh, what you do in Resident Evil? Well, we're kind of putting it in a film. We're just doing it from a original character standpoint.
Yeah. I see the promise in it, and believe me, fan service is fan service when you boil it all down. And I just hope that the trailer is gonna deliver exactly what I think it is. Like, oh, we made a shitty, like, small little, once you see it in the theaters, you're just gonna be filled with like, oh look, I know this, I know that, this. Would you say, because I'm not really too familiar with the Resident Evil franchise as much as you are, I wanted to know, is it like a no. Forget what I was gonna say. It was my bad. Like, word the question. Like,
are you asking like what type of horror it is, or
like there you go. Is there a lot of graphic imagery that you couldn't pull off with practical effects? There you go.
The Resident Evil as a project definitely can thrive on practical effects.
Thank God. Okay.
It is definitely because, okay, here's what I will say. In certain things will work from a graphical, or certain things work from practical effects, but then there are other things that it's going to be damn near impossible to go practical. Because let's put it this way. The reason that the Wes Anderson Resident Evil movies I argue are, they're successful. I think the first two films are decent. They're good. They're good films. But as far as them being Resident Evil, they are very much like the member berries when it comes to Resident Evil. It's like, oh, do you remember going to the mansion? Oh, do you remember the liquors? Or you remember the dogs? Blah, 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 stuff like that. So, but as in terms of like, what do you want to do with practical effects? Well, I mean, you could do the more base level, like monsters, practically the zombies when they kill people, and then you could kind of do it the same thing with dogs as well, and crows. Pretty much just kind of like the easier, more like it makes sense to go practical with them, because otherwise if you try to CGI them, it will, let's just call it as it is, it's that CGI look.
Yeah.
But
there's look.
Yeah, but there are definitely things that I'm like, what are they doing? Like, if I remember in the trailer, there was a shot on it's like a door, or like a door frame, and it's like through past that door frame, it is pitch black. And then all of a sudden you see what you think is like a hand, but it's body parts like holding that door frame. That is definitely just good CGI. And I have an odd feeling that he might be calling back to a Resident Evil Revelations design. Because in Revelations, I'm going to just try to speedrun this because I don't want to get too long on explaining what Revelations is. Basically, Resident Evil Revelations, the whole premise of that game is that basically it's an abandoned ship in the middle of nowhere and they're just lost communication randomly. So they'll send
I
in...
love this.
So they send in like their task force over there, but all the monsters are... It's kind of got this like eeriness to them where you can tell, even though they're mutated, there is some form of like human like aspect to them. Like they're saying like the last words before they died. So there is a boss creature that was, I assume, is like a ship captain, if I remember correctly, and he just keeps yelling Mayday or something like that, and it's like it's echoing through this hall. And it's this hulking design that is like an amalgamation of body parts. And one part of his arm is like a chainsaw, essentially. And the other is just like parts. So that is likely the creature he may be referencing in that shot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's stuff like this where it's like, if it's easy to replicate on screen, if it's not gimmicky, you know, like, Guillermo del Toro is cited by saying that if you make films and you make monsters, they are just as human as you are. You know what I mean? They're living, breathing creatures. They're in essence, you know, a warning sign for us. You know what I mean? They're based off of our image. You know, and in other words, they deserve to have life. So it's like, very much a warning to, you know, they'll suck if you don't, or the ideas behind these characters will suck if you don't actually, like, you know, put some thought and emphasis to it, you know?
Yeah, like, because generally speaking, like monsters in monster films in general are always like a metaphor for something, like whatever the director is feeling. Like even like a perfect example is like Train to Busan, or just like in general, Korean zombie films are always like it's a commentary on the social structure of Korea as like a society. If you ever consider like watching, if you watch like Train to Busan, like a lot of like the characters that have power, quote unquote, are always well dressed in suits. And you could tell like, oh, they must be important to society. It's always like something like that.
I learned a lot from, you know, when that whole Parasite craze was going on.
Parasite, yep.
God, man, such a good film.
Such a good fucking movie, dude.
Yeah. Hey,
but
learned that a lot of that stuff, the whole like, well, spoiler alert, just the people, you know, trapped in the house. It's like something happened of like, oh, a bunch of like slave labor that was, you know, reported somewhere, and that light is actually like a reference to those people who, like, it was like, oh, the people who turn on the power for the rich are basically, you know, they're basically, you know, underneath this huge structure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they can't really get out of it. It's like, you know, and it's like this wheel that keeps churning blood. It was a really cool metaphor when I saw it. It was, or at least the video that broke that whole thing down. I was like, okay, wow, this makes a lot more sense. I like that. You know, horror movies aren't just. It's a huge misconception. Horror movies are not just about blood and gore.
It's not blood and gore. It's not monsters. It's an overall like commentary on a particular topic.
It's all mostly, you know, a way to tell good traumatic stories to learn from, you know, like, it's cool.
Yeah. So and that's kind of like the thing about Resident Evil as well. Like, it's also like kind of an allegory on like, obviously, like they're using like a bioterroristic story, like overall, but some of the creature designs do kind of have some like backstory on them, like the effects of doing experimentations, like, because like if I give an example of like some of the monsters in Resident Evil, the most common one is the liquor. It is like this, it's this weird nothing but muscle like creature that has its brain exposed. It's got a long tongue, as the name states, and it's got giant claws. However, they're blind and they are very sensitive to like sound. So it could, so in a way, it's an allegory for something. It's, you know, very much like an allegory of just like human experimentation gone wrong.
Yeah.
So they're ravaged creatures, but they have a weakness. So fun stuff like that. Even like some of the boss designs as well is basically like that. And that's kind of like the big thing that I'm very curious on what Zach Kreger is going to do for this film. What boss creatures is he going to reference? Because if you're in Raccoon City, the most common one is either Nemesis / Mr. X or William Birkin. Like any of them really is kind of like the get out of jail free card. Oh, look at this big creature.
Exactly.
So, but I am very excited for this Resident Evil movie. You know, I could go on and on about this, and who knows, maybe like as an idea, like I might do a Resident Evil movie review depending on when I watch it and when I'm able to. And plus I need to get a panel for that. So so that one's a not gonna promise it, but I would like to do it.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, again, all the luck to the director and all that.
I'm very excited, man. Come on, Zach. Like, I really liked Weapons. I think you could do this, dude. I think you could do it.
Yeah.
I guess we'll do you want to have any like closing thoughts before I move to the other trailer?
Not really. I really hope that, you know, we see something really fun. And I will make an effort to see if I can, you know, because I haven't seen a horror movie in the theater in so long.
Yeah, I think the last, not really a horror film, but definitely like a thriller suspense film was Iron Lung from Markiplier. That one's pretty solid. God. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it like the greatest movie, but it's a fun movie to watch. Especially considering that it's a fairly small budget that Mark was able to make work. And now you could pretty much watch it on his YouTube channel. You just have to pay for, I think it's like $10 or something. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote me. But I think it's on his YouTube channel now. So at least last time I remember. But I guess one more movie trailer before I talk about Gears of War E-Day.
Oh yeah,
the Clayface trailer.
Yeah. Oh man. Me too. Yeah, that was okay. I love Batman. I am I won't say huge, only because I'm gonna be honest. I never have. That's not true. I've had comics gifted to me, but I've never like went out of my way to like, you know, to actually read a Batman comic front to back page. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I very much got introduced to Batman. I'm not gonna lie, like through the Tim Burton films. They weren't the best. They really were not the best, but they very much, you know, they caught my eye, and I was like, all right, well, maybe this is something I could get into. I think it's not so bad, you know. And so, what I was going to say. was well, what was the tangent going? Where were we talking?
Well, how do we feel about just like the Clayface trailer as a whole, I guess? And
There
then
you
like
go. Thank you. That villain I had gotten introduced through the Arkham series because I didn't really know much about any characters. You know what I mean? I'll stay firm with that. I'm not really proud of that, but hey, it is what it is. My parents really didn't grow up with the physical comics either. It's very much a thing where when I found out about this character, I was like, oh my god, an actor that's a supervillain. That's kind of cool. And not to mention, what an idea! Like he morphs into anything he wants. Like out of defense mechanism, right? I was like, okay, this is really cool. And so I thought, okay, here's the death to any movie who's got like heavy CGI. Like this one actually doesn't so bad.
I think this is
Yeah,
like the where you can do proper CGI and it would make sense. Because as long as you have a film that makes sense to use CGI, in this case it's Clayface. I mean just the shots alone are fucking great. And then the practical effects too on the actor, like that they're all like he's like super like disfigured and all that. I was like, I really like this direction they're going with.
Yeah, me too. I hope it turns into something because it's a what's it called? It's this whole Robert Pattinson phase.
I mean, shit, I don't even want to talk about the fact that we have to wait till 2028 for the fucking Batman movie, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The first one had limits because of COVID.
And now this is it just keeps getting pushed back for whatever fucking reason.
I just all I know is Nolan got that money to do that. I think they could take their chances on something like this. Like it's gonna be cool, man. That's all I'm gonna say. Like it is going.
I think I really like the direction that they're going with this because, like, I think I remember when I heard the concept, which was a Clayface movie as a horror film. I was like, I'm sold on that idea already.
Oh gosh,
like if Joker is the thriller drama, and if Clayface is the horror film, I'm all for it.
Same, bro. Like I'm sorry. That's why I didn't like the other guy. I don't know his name.
Are you talking about Batman or Into Batman?
Yeah, the first one where the trailer, that surprise trailer or not surprise trailer. What is it? It's like the ultimate ending or something like that. Where he plays that character, the Joker. I'm like, no, the way it's looking like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, he's terrifying, and I'm like, well, only some only some comics have like his portrayal, the Joker's portrayal as like a terrifying, you know, maybe not my favorite.
It's more on it's more of an imagery thing. It looks terrifying. That's definitely what it was like going for.
And I'm just like, all right, good job, but then like, it didn't go well with his character choices.
I mean, I would argue this. Like, I mean, I still have not watched that second Joker movie. All I've just heard is that it's trash and that's it.
Yeah, I wouldn't see it.
Yeah, like, I don't know. If I'm bored, maybe I'll watch it. But, I mean, I really love that first Joker movie. It was so goddamn good.
First one was very good. That one was so... Everybody was waiting to get everyone's opinion on that because of the social commentary at the time. Like, wow, that is kind of nuts. Like it was
It was a good movie. It was a really good movie. That's like all I could really say. It's a good film.
Yeah, it was a good. I can't really complain too much about it because this was something original, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. it's an original take on a legendary character.
Yeah, and I for what it was, yeah, I like it. I will say though, it made me learn that the mystery to his identity really makes for a better like
Character.
build up. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's always the thing about the Joker. It's like what makes the Joker so interesting is that his origin. We don't know his origin story, and we don't even know if it's accurate. Like whatever he says. And I think that's what makes that character so interesting and, elusive.
Yeah, he could be one of the first. He could be one of the first characters. Or there you go. He could be one of the first major devices. You know what I mean? Like what are the character of the Joker could be one of the more popularized literary devices. There you go.
Like archetype or something like that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
the
I
villain
get you.
that the villain that doesn't really exist. It's just really a reflection on like your demons.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's why like on the Arkham series, it's just that and only that.
Yeah, I mean it's literally just like, well, the Joker is practically it's literally in his character. He is the antithesis to Batman. Where Batman has a code of honor, Joker has none.
Yeah, that's why he keeps fucking with him.
Yep, indeed. But there's our little movie talk section.
There you go.
Try to get back. I'm gonna just I mentioned it like a second ago before we went on our movie tangents. But Gears of War E-Day, it did show up, and like what we mentioned earlier, it's very much just like an old formula that I think genuinely could work, and it's very much needed because the last time I know a lot of like the OG Gears fan base they're very divisive on the most recent entries, and arguably even like Gears of War Reloaded. Don't get me wrong, it's like one of my favorite franchises in my childhood, and then going through it as an adult, it like makes you really think about what that game was talking about. Like what we mentioned earlier with with Train to Busan, where it's like it's a social commentary on like power structure and all that. In the case of Gears of War, like the original trilogy, it's a social commentary on the military and like the effect it has on innocent lives, on both fronts.
Exactly.
So and I mean, Gears of War E-Day, like if the story was one thing, the multiplayer was the other thing. Whether it's the PvP content or the PvE content, I guess I'll talk about PvP for a little bit. It looks good. It's definitely Gears of War multiplayer, but it definitely looks really interesting. Something the franchise needed. It just needed a really big shakeup. So I'm gonna try to participate in the open beta. Apparently, there's a way you can get into the early access without having to pay for it, but I'll have to like research that one a little bit more. But it is going to be an Xbox console exclusive, but it's also going to be available on PC. Anybody who wants to join on that. And I guess I'll talk about PvE for a little bit. It's so goddamn different, and I like it. So what they're basically doing is instead of the original Horde mode, where it's just the multiplayer maps, and then you just have to hunker down at one spot while fighting like 50 waves of the Locusts. Now it's a whole siege mode, and it's 12 players. So it's 3 squads of 4 fighting on different fronts in like a giant map, and they all have, I assume, like different objectives. They also have a class system that's great, and very much a mode that's rewards replayability, that's for sure. And as a Gears fan, I fucking love it, man. I really fucking like it. So I'm definitely gonna try. Go on.
My bad, my bad. Gears of War was one of those games for me growing up that was like always played by the grown-ups, but they never let you.
Oh, it's very gory. I could say that much. And the gore does not. It is not. It doesn't pull its punches, man. That's all I could say.
Yeah.
So, I mean, dude, you're seeing like heads fucking pop, people getting like destroyed by a goddamn chainsaw. I mean,
Well, I wanted to see that.
that's just surface level shit, dude.
I wanted to see that.
So, Gears of War E-Day, that's coming out. So, that's going to be coming out in October 6th, at least, like the official release day. So, I am definitely going to try to. I just got to go through the Gears of War 5 campaign because I played Gears 4 and the campaign is so. It's alright. It's an okay campaign by, like, obviously an OG Gears head standpoint. Like, it's alright. Not great.
Bye.
But that's the good stuff. But I think we got to bring it back down, Josh, to the Debbie Downer news.
Oh god.
Okay. So there was a thing that I saw is being like brought up on social media, and it's just going. I just keep seeing it. It's like there's not a day that I don't see this post. But apparently there is a planned boycott amongst PSN players to do like a quote unquote like blackout week, which is pretty much like the tail end of August. So from August 23rd to the 30th, there is a boycott that is being planned where nobody logs on, nobody buys anything. They just stay away. They don't log on to PSN. Not to be the asshole, but I've seen boycotts happen, and the problem is that some people just don't fucking commit. That is the only problem when it comes to this. And unfortunately, like, it's a nice attempt, but I don't think this boycott is gonna work, unfortunately, especially because of some comments that were made recently at a financial quarter meeting at Sony. And Josh, have you heard like any of this stuff about?
I have not. It sounds fire. What is the tea?
Oh boy. So anyone who has been living under a rock, Sony has made the announcement that starting January 2028 that they will stop physical media for any PlayStation games.
Oh god.
Like any games that are releasing like after 2028 will no longer have a disc made for them. It is literally going to be a code in a box. That is
so weird.
And I'm like, then you're just basically killing off retail, fucking retail at that point. Because I mean, granted, GameStop already is like in the shitter as it is, but now I think it's definitely in the shitter after 2028.
I don't get where we have to get better.
Like, and so Sony, in a quarterly financial meetings, the CFO Lin Tao basically, she pretty much just confirmed that they heard our opinions, but they are still going to move forward with the decision to stop physical media on January 2028. In other words, just say we're greedy as fuck and we want more money, and you will give us money because fuck you. I've already spoken on this topic like so goddamn much. I spoke it on stream, or my last stream that I did, and all I really have to say for a counter argument is, so why is it that games has to be the sacrificial lamb when it comes to this conversation of physical versus digital, when there are still, vinyls, CDs for music, and books, like hard cover books. So why is video games the sacrificial lamb? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
used to go to like all these bookstores, and no bookstore exists now because of Amazon.
I mean, there's a Barnes and Noble like next to my work, but yeah, like any other like bookstore, yeah, hardly
You know what I mean?
any.
There's no more Borders. Remember that?
Oh God,
Yeah. Kind of crazy, man. That right there is like sick evolution.
yeah, it's the timeline I hate.
I know that I'm not gonna. It's gonna be that much harder to like. I mean, music stores are music stores, right? They'll always sell physical instruments, but like it's like that. It's like in a world where digital media exists, why waste paper and ink?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not sure if that, directly translates it. I mean, with just a CD, you know what I mean? With video games, I can understand why they're making this so dramatic. Like, oh my god, like how could you do this? Like, is it? But I don't know. Does the CD matter? Does everything else, the content matter? I think if they're just gonna, put out the empty boxes,
Yeah, like a code that has a set expiration date, and God forbid you buy it off secondhand market, you better pray the code works. Because why the hell are you just gonna have an empty box? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna pretend that I don't buy digital media. I got a fucking PC. That says it right there. But the difference is that at least with PC, it's an open market, and they have much better consumer friendly rules. So Steam, for example, like let's just say, hey, I bought a game. I have a 2-hour window of me playing it, and I think within like 2 weeks of the purchase, I can get a full refund. And that's just Steam, by the way.
Are you kidding me? You can play games for free. There's a loophole like that.
Well, in their terms of service, let's just say let's just use a recent example. Let's say I buy Marvel Tokon on PC. I play it. The game is not optimized for my rig. I request a refund, and I did it within under 2 hours. And usually they just say, have your $60 back. Like, we're sorry that you couldn't play it. And again,
I need that.
that's just
Steam. Fallout.
Yeah, and that's just Steam, by the way. There's also another one called GOG, and what it basically is you can basically buy games and play games like DRM free, so you don't need like an internet connection to play them, and you basically have actual ownership of those games. And on top of it, there's also people who are getting really creative recently when it comes to PC games, where they're literally just buying an old SSD card and they're loading the entire game into said SSD card, and they're even making like their own covers and all that.
What the?
Yeah, crazy, right?
Okay, there's the world of that is like different and crazy. Like, all right, we're no longer gonna do this so that other people could have the freedom and liberty to do this. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So
it's all, I won't say confusing, but it's so mind blowing to me.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, I mean, this conversation, unfortunately, is going to keep on being a thing, like almost every single podcast. Like, I could try to avoid this conversation, but especially when it's a hobby that I love, that all of us are connected to in some way, shape, or form, this is a very important one. We're not going to pretend that it's not there. It's always going to be there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if I gotta just like wrap up, the two topics, like number one, the boycott. I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily do this boycott, because the problem is then that's basically me telling you what to do, and I don't like that. So
Yeah.
I just say, if I just like to share what I like.
I'm smarter than to follow the sheep herd.
Yeah.
You know, like it is what it is. Like, yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, personally for me, like, I'm not going to tell everyone what to do, when it comes to the boycott. You want to participate in it, go right ahead. But unfortunately I'm not going to say that it's dumb. I'm just going to say it in terms of history, it usually is not going to be the case. Or like usually boycotts 9 times out of 10 don't really succeed, because then people circle back around to what they were boycotting against.
Yeah. If anything, it just gets that much popular because of that happening.
You make something more popular indirectly. It's basically like the whole Hogwarts thing when it first launched. People tried to boycott Hogwarts Legacy because of the author.
That
whole thing.
Good luck with that. I still like the game.
And then guess what? The game was one of the best-selling games that year. And granted, I mean, it didn't get any nominations, but that doesn't mean the game was of bad quality either. So that's just kind of the thing that sucks, man. I just hate this. Like, I'm not gonna say like I said, it's not that boycotts are bad, it's just historically they are never that successful. They always end up making it worse. So, and that's funny enough, that kind of just leads into our question for the pod in comments. Do you have anything else, Josh, that you want to say before we hit that question? I didn't hear anything.
Oh, let her rip.
All right, cool. So, question for the pod in comments. Anybody who is interested in participating in this question, go ahead and just drop it right down in the comment section. But I basically it leads into like the whole Xbox thing. So with like the current state of like Sony right now, Xbox possibly has just like the easiest layup right now, since every single week Sony is practically finding a new way to become very anti-consumer. That's not to say Xbox isn't doing the same thing. They're at fault of their own, because they keep shutting down like random studios, as part of the whole Xbox 100-day reset thing. But
That's crazy.
But with all the sacrifices that have been made, I will admit they kind of are projecting themselves to have such a strong comeback, man. And the question, Project Helix is still a thing. We don't have too many details other than the fact that, number one, it's going to be very expensive, just judging from what it sounds like, because it's sounding like it's a PC first that's kind of like a console, and it has access, obviously the Xbox Store, but it's also going to have access to Steam. And let's just say Project Helix just gets announced tomorrow, and all the information that we've heard about it is very good, even in the shitty price that it's likely going to be at probably roughly $1,000, but with a lot of benefits out of it. Will it make you move over to that side of the quote unquote console war?
So this is an actual console.
Allegedly, it's supposed to be their new quote unquote console, but it's more of a PC. That's just basically Xbox branded.
Okay. So it's a computer.
Yes. Practically what nowadays like all the consoles are, because like an Xbox Series X and a PS5 essentially is pretty much, in some way, shape, or form, it practically is a PC at this point. It's just obviously it is curated to be more like a console.
Right. Interesting.
And you know what? And here, sorry to cut you off. Here, I apologize for cutting you off, but like we may as well even say it. Let's just say you know, even though the Steam machine, the sticker price is, you know, it was a big shocker because it's $1,000. But the value of it is pretty decent at the moment. For all we know,
Which
next year,
is-
it's well, if you're buying a 512 gigabyte model, it's like at the it's at 1,049, and they did not want to sell it at that price. So, but let's just use the hypothetical. You have infinite money. You don't give a shit. Would you still do it?
I hate to be that guy, but I will only be part of the herd if the hype is really that real.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not. In other words, I'm not going to buy another Xbox when I could just buy an Xbox.
Or you could just like the current, like what the current Xbox Series X is right now.
Exactly. Like I'd rather get that than something new. It's like, yeah, there's more of a base. There's more of an inventory rather than like, oh yeah, I only have just, you know, these two games.
Yeah. You know,
And
I can see where you're coming from.
it's weird. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind buying a Game Sphere, but I could just stick to my Xbox. Does the same shit. It's just a different shape.
Yes. But so then if that's the case, so let's say it is true that yes, it is $1,000, but you have access to practically a large library in the Xbox ecosystem, plus you have Steam, and the fact that it's a PC, so there is a potential to play with mods as well on what is essentially kind of similar to a console. Would that sell you on it? And you just have to pay this one time, granted a giant price, but there is potential that the value gets increased like over the years because of what it's been putting out. Let's just say that, for example.
I can't use the Xbox to play that big Les game right now, right?
Well, if allegedly it's going to have Steam as part of the storefronts, yes. You basically have the entire Steam library in the palm of your hands. If
Isn't
it's true.
Steam streaming though?
No.
Okay.
It's not a cloud-based service. There is cloud-based options like to play the games, but that's not like its core.
Okay.
It's not like Google Stadia,
please.
basically.
Please don't let it be that base.
Like, Josh, I'm just gonna tell you right now, if this is true, and that's if this is true, that basically means you have access as far back as the original Xbox and possibly older in that machine. And that's with also anything else in between.
Okay. So, and you guarantee that's happening?
Let's just say allegedly, because that is the information that we have right now, but we haven't heard like anything else beyond that.
Because that news makes sense with the other with Sony and how they're trying to compete with, you know, that way. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Do you see what I'm trying to say here?
Well, the problem is with Sony's take. Let's just say the PS6 gets announced. Here's the biggest issue with it. It's probably going to have the same sticker shock price. So unfortunately, we just have to assume it's going to be $1,000 now.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And
okay. Buy ours.
So here's the problem. Okay, let me just tell you why I don't think the PS6 is going to be. It better fucking impress me because I don't have any plans to, I genuinely think because the PS5 is the first console I've ever bought with my own money and it might be my last. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I
see what you mean by that too.
Let's put
last two were my money, but still. Ugh.
So let's just say the PS6 gets announced. Here is the problems it has going against it. Number one, it is a closed ecosystem. If Xbox is allegedly having not just their storefront, but also Steam's storefront, I mean, dude, it's already value-wise, it just instantly jumped. a 10-foot pole. Like, it immediately jumped. On top, and then no, here's the other part, Josh. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, you're good. You're good.
So and on top of it, supposedly, it's going to be free online. You know how much PlayStation is yearly on just their base tier?
Wow.
Like, it is the same price as GTA 6 that isn't the Ultimate Edition. It is $80 for a year. So, do you see why I think the PS6 has like it has a very uphill climb going against it.
Yeah. It's gotta be the next innovative thing. Yeah.
But
I mean,
again, Sony is kind of figuring
thing,
out ways to kill themselves, essentially,
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's weird. It is the hottest topic right now. Trying to figure the future out.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. It's very hard to say.
I will say, you breaking that down for me kind of made things a lot easier for me to like think about. Okay, see, if that is the case with what is it called?
Project
If that is
Helix.
the case, then it's just going to be a lot harder to outsource for video games if you already know that, there you go. I'd rather not pay 60, 80. I think whatever's more economically convenient for for the average consumer is what's going to dictate the overall, change. I think there is always going to be that whole, oh, you got $1,000 or can you pay for this thing? You know what I mean? It's always been like, how much is it? Oh, like it's always an extra $200. It's always been like that. And
Yeah.
so like when it comes to like just paying stuff, nobody wants to do that. Nobody's gonna want to do that, and that's the thing. It's like where we come from a market where it's like, oh fuck, this game is gonna be like everything. It's gonna take over like a lot of my lifestyle and everything like that. Well, now you gotta like now it's competing with the amount of games you could have and when and how to play them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So how do like what they've been doing, which is trying to provide, something decent and something that's affordable and something that's, when I say decent in terms of graphics, it's yeah, it's just difficult to say.
Yeah, and the other thing to consider too when it comes to this is like it's also like from the perspective of price to performance as well. Because obviously we have the problem with the Steam machine being like the price that it is. When Project Helix, it might be around the same price, but it's going to be theoretically speaking, a much stronger machine. So that's kind of the big question mark is like, we don't know what the power of these things are if they can run the games that we want to play at a much better, level. Because I think like going forward next year, like you'd hope that the bare minimum of games are, or the base resolution of games should be like a 1080p 60, and then you just build up from that point. And we could probably go as far as like 4K 120 even at a stable 120 specifically.
Yeah.
And again, it's an assumption that that's what this is going to be. We won't know until it releases or until we get more info on it.
It's hard. If the question was, buy a new Xbox or buy that new one. I'd rather buy the new one. I'd rather buy the Xbox because the new one doesn't have all of the Microsoft library, right?
Like, well, it is. I mean, the Steam library. No matter, you could just throw Steam and library in one sentence. That already jumps your value a lot. It's just the difference is that one's just Xbox branded, really. So you do get access to certain Xbox games that are just not sold on Steam. But the fact that you have basically two storefronts that are accessible to you. So that's just kind of like something to heavily consider. And the other thing too is to also consider the fact that Xbox might also be trying to get back into console exclusives as well, because we already have, Gears of War E-Day is a console exclusive game. And then another single player RPG game that got me really interested last year and that got shown this year again was Clockwork Revolution. Kind of looks like a BioShock Infinite style game.
Ooh.
And it's a console exclusive. So let's put it this way. I think Xbox does have they're setting themselves up pretty goddamn well, if you ask me. Like, that might be one of the few times I legit think the console exclusivity makes sense if the Project Helix is what it's projected to be.
Exactly.
So that's just kind of how I'm viewing it personally. Now, I will say, though, the one thing that they do need to kill off for Project Helix to be a little more on the successful side, or at least restructure it, they need to figure out what to do with Game Pass. Because I genuinely think, that membership I think that entire system, I think it's going to be gone within like the next maybe like 2-3 years. I think it's going to be gone. I think they're going to can it because they're going to realize this did so much damage to Microsoft that it's affecting like all the developers that they bought up.
Yeah. See, I'm for whatever everybody's playing, whatever. You know what I mean? What's popular, what's fun, not like, oh, I just have the new latest this, but then it turns out to be fucking garbage. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's kind of like something I don't want to be a part of. I don't want to be an early adopter for pile of trash, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's just my opinion on it. But with that being said, I want to thank you, Josh, for taking some time out of your day to join in on this lovely podcast that we always record on Mondays, or at least usually on Mondays.
Oh yeah.
And I guess we may as well start the outros. Sir, where can everyone find you?
You can find me mostly my music, and I'm gonna be posting some more photography and some more videos coming up soon. I think it's time for me to get back into my bag. I was taking a lot of videos and photos of myself, and gaining my my confidence and really picking up speed in that department, and how I wanted to look in front of the camera and all that. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing that soon, a little bit more. I promise you. RDYRMND. It's Read Your Mind. Can look up my music as well as the featured talent on the majority of my music, featuring Zero Requiem and Symbio Drift. And the lovely Shane Erst, if she's listening to this several years later. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. I promise y'all. I'm gonna have some cool shit lined up for y'all.
Hell yeah. All right, and I am your host, Zero Requiem 14. Can follow me on my socials on this very YouTube channel, along with Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, and Twitter whenever I do decide to use them. We'll be back with another podcast, hopefully around like next Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how long it takes me. And you could always find me on YouTube and Twitch, usually streaming, sometimes on Thursdays, but every Friday we try to stream as much as we can. But until then, guys, thank you for watching or listening to this podcast. We will see you on the next one. Have a good one.
Hell yeah.